So let us all take a moment of silence within to in-gather ourselves before we start. Okay, so last time we had started with the reading of In Mother's Light by Rishabhchand ji in the Mother's Light. And yeah, so we have started touching upon just randomly, like touching upon this one called The Goal of Human Life. So it was, I thought it was pretty important, although it's not that we have not read it before with Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Maybe we have touched upon it, maybe commonsensically we may know about it. But I feel that it's important to revisit again and again because we do forget. So those of us who may find it a bit redundant and repetitive, please bear with it. And although it may be repetitive, but it will definitely give us some hints and clues for the path forward. So, yeah, so we were talking about four categories of men, and then we had to start on the third category today. The third category belong to those. So, yeah, let us start the reading. Anyone who would like to read is most welcome. Please unmute and go ahead.
Yeah, Monica, I'll read.
Of course, yeah, please.
Yeah. Monica, if you don't mind, can you highlight that? It will be easy.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Hmm.
To the third category belong to those who have glimpsed or envisaged some goal and advance slowly or swiftly according to their capacity towards it. This category breaks off into diverse units proceeding in diverse directions. Some canter to a near and comparatively easy goal. Some, drawn by a higher and wider idealism, strive for a greater and more difficult consummation. A selfless service of one's society or country or humanity, the spreading of the gospel of peace and harmony, the dissemination of lofty truths, and the imparting of true cultural education are some of the ethical goals they endeavor to pursue. They renounce most of their personal desire and try to rise superior to the formation of their lower nature, so that their life may get out of rut of vital physical preoccupations and emerge into some kind of transparent purity, freedom, and noble beneficence. Some go even beyond these shining ideals, finding them rather lacking in any fullness and finality, and sacrifice their all to discover and realize the soul or the spirit, the Brahman or the divine. This is the goal which alone seems to them worth attaining, the rest appearing as unsubstantial or illusory. The fathomless peace of the eternal or the unutterable ecstasy of the Godhead gives a profound satisfaction to the deeper parts of their being and carries with it a limpid freedom and finality which preclude any further quest or seeking. I'll continue.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Most of the sacred writings of the world enjoin upon men to seek only the immortality and infinity of the spirit and give up all other thought. An exclusive pursuit of the ineffable reality or the supreme knowledge or truth has therefore been the dominant spiritual note for many a century and claimed the absolute loyalty of some of the rarest men in the world. But even the liberation of the individual soul, or the realization of the immutable eternal, or the bliss of the divine embrace in the depths of the being may seem to some to be a falling short and not the supreme fulfillment. Something more is wanted, something more comprehensive and complete, something that is real not only to their inner or ingathered consciousness, but also to the outmost active personality of man and patent and palpable even to his physical senses. What a detailing, no? You can never imagine all this. Beautiful. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, sir.
Beautiful, to read. Yeah.
Yeah,
Champaklaji was very good. That was also good. But, this
yeah.
is more. Yeah. Thank you.
Each one has their own flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
Abhi to, there are more to come. It's like we are touching upon each different, like they talk about parallel universes.
Yeah.
As if each devotee, like this is like a universe in itself, and we are just touching upon the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. See, if we read this, then we will understand how far we have to go.
Hmm.
Beautiful. We don't even know we belong to which category.
I think I would say we keep fluctuating. In
Yeah.
one life, one is first wandering, lost, then, after some time, maybe develop a vision, goal, maybe run towards it for some time. And then that doesn't seem enough, so again shift and look for something higher. So I think it can happen all in one lifetime also, these different categories.
Yeah. All stages of
Yeah.
life.
Yes, yes, yes.
Beautiful. Thank you
So
so
yes,
much.
more thoughts are welcome. Anyone? I feel
Uh,
like sorry. Yes, Nandini, please go ahead.
no, Monica, just do you think you could just quickly summarize the first category and the second category? Like
Okay.
for us to.
No, actually, we touched upon that, but we can go through that. Even I don't have such a good memory that I remember
Right. No,
first and the
it's okay.
second
It was
category.
just, it left me, I mean, yes, the questioning, right? I mean, I
Hmm.
think there was a question by somebody had mentioned that क्या यही करने आए हैं ना घर, then there is life, there
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
you get married and things like that. And so these questions, what happens
Hmm.
when
Hmm.
like, where do you start? Because you start, some of us, like, start very, very young. Like, I never understood the point of getting married, or it was a question I just couldn't. It took me a very long time, and therefore I did, of course, marry late. And but that resistance was there for so long, and then I feel that I somehow gave in, to a certain conditioning, because like, typically, I had my parents, and they would say that, what, you don't have anyone, or and then when you read such scriptures, and you read these readings, um nothing against marriage, I'm just saying that for some of us, maybe, or at least for me, I would have probably benefited a little more by being on my own, or maybe learned, differently, or viewed the world in a different way instead of, yeah, getting entangled and, getting, yeah. In my own way, maybe alone, I would have also found other ways, or maybe, learned that thing. But this thing was a bit, because even having a child was a big question for me, big, huge. And I was not because, it was something, but I also wanted to know what kind of a world I was bringing a child into. What kind of, what would there, will they also have to go through the same, And then, yes, when you read these readings, it sort of strengthens that, oh, what you were thinking probably at some point of time did have some meaning to it. Because like you said, no, like there have been conversations with, then, is that what we have to do? Is this what we have to follow? Is this what we have to, always, yeah, do? Because today I have a child who is questioning me the same. Ma, is this what I have to do? And I don't want to, because, but somewhere, you feel that, oh, I wish that she also has a partner someday, or she finds, a good life partner, whatever. But God, that conditioning is so hard. Sometimes it's very difficult to break it with your own children. I'm not even telling somebody else's, but, with your own children, how do you bring that, that kind of conviction that no matter what, you will have to, because they also see the same thing, right? They're seeing somebody getting married, then, their cousins or their children, whatever, having children. So yeah, that's where.
Yeah, thank you. I
Thank you.
think reflections are welcome. I think we have many people here who are married. I don't have that experience. So those of us, I don't consider myself married, even if I am. So please, anyone who would like to share any experience on marriage and children and what Nandini just shared.
And also, I remember one of the sessions addressed also that, I think it was in Heroic Heart, where you said that, the discussion was that, do we have to always be talking and resolving and relating and, addressing everything with the people that we engage with in our day-to-day life? Yeah.
Mm. There's so much to talk about on that. I don't know. I think mm, mm, I think that uh, unless you have a very concrete idea in your heart that you must go alone and you have and you want to do this path by yourself, I think marriage can be a good thing, depending on how do you understand it and how do you live it. But yes, I would say that for someone who is like us, mm, uh, for someone with a special interest in spirituality and a serious uh, pursuit, a serious interest in this path, I would say that, of course, it is important to find someone uh, who, whom you can share uh, this this thing. You know, there's a beautiful words of mother regarding this. Like she speaks about, you know, uh, all the things that you can, in which you can join, like the mental sphere, the the top of it, in top of it, the spiritual aspiration. I think it all depends a lot on what you're looking for, and yes, in my humble experience, I got married at 42, which is, you know, a long time, and yes, I think I have been quarreling with this idea, like marriage would be a thing contrary to the spiritual path. Now I don't think it should be, but depends on how do you relate with your partner, and what do you want to take from it, and I think yes, I only would say that it's important for someone like us who God or the spiritual path is something of the most important thing in life, then it is very important to be with someone who can share this, and it could be even a very interesting framework to work with. I think that sometimes the marriage can put a mirror in ourselves all the time, like where to look, what we have to do, what the evolution we need, the things we have to work in ourselves. So it could be a blessing too, maybe.
Hi,
Thank
For my
I'm Nandini as well. So hello. So I think I really resonated with you because I'm standing where you once stood as well. About to get married and took a long time thinking whether it's for me or not. Uh, how about how, and this idea of spirituality and marriage, and should I get married, will I be able to be on the path of spirituality. Was dating a guy for a long time, and he's completely from a different religion, completely from a different culture. So I had this serious questions as well, that going ahead in marriage, is it for me, is it going to spiritually evolve me? But in last 7-8 months, there's something that's really changed drastically, my idea of marriage and companionship. First of all, I have always, like this idea, our own idea of, is that past partner spiritual or not spiritual, is another mask of ego. Because in last 8 months, the kind of advices I have got from my partner, whom I thought is not spiritual at all, is radically different of how I thought. So I mean, that's something that's one thing that I have learned as well. How do I know somebody is spiritual or not? They are on their own evolution. The second thing I've thought about marriage is that was a story I read about Mirabai, who was equally confused like you and me before getting married. Should I get married or should I not? And he asked his two aunties, buas, and the one asked that, should I get married? Isn't marriage a good thing? And she said, oh, marriage is wonderful. My husband, does everything and look after everything. And I just love it. And that's why I can focus on Krishna. She thought she in her heart, she thought maybe she's lying. She said, okay. She went to another auntie and asked about, should I get married? And she said, oh, my husband is completely useless. He goes and, drinks so much alcohol and all. But the good thing is that I have learned detachment. So that's why I'm in Krishna. So she goes ahead and get married. But my thing was, I think Alok Das said this, was listening, and he said that Meera wouldn't have become a Meera had she not got married. So it was her evolution through marriage that she became. And that's something that really caught that, our idea, oh, I shouldn't have done this, like me, should I do this? Should I not? Is again, me. let it open to the divine. Even recently, how my marriage should take place, so much I was in confusion, the kind of things I want, the conditioning I was in, the rituals I want, this. But just one day I thought, let Krishna decide what's for me. I am married to Krishna. Like, even when I look at Daniel, like, I just don't is not married to Daniel. I always say, I am marrying the Krishna in you. May I bring that Krishna in you, and that's what become the basis. And he doesn't have to do it, because he is my most wonderful teacher. He tells me how, because there's so much expectation, that stickiness with him, that had I not got married, I would have always thought, oh, I'm doing so wonderful on this spiritual path. But because I'm not involved in such an intimate relationship, so relationships can actually bring the worst in us and tells us where we stick. And that's something I have taken my marriage, which I will enter, that it is not something to take joy and happiness out of. It is, again, a means of my evolution. It is going to really teach me where I'm stuck, and I have to keep reminding myself that I'm not married to a person, I'm married to a Krishna. So whatever I do for him, like whether it's washing his clothes or cooking for him, sometimes I always, when I think, oh my God, he's sitting and watching iPad, he is not helping him, it really makes me crazy, and then I just keep thinking that I'm not doing for him, I'm doing for Krishna, and it just changes everything. And that has also even changed our relationship as well. I think that's something I've realized, that, whatever way divine has really destined for us is a means of evolution, marriage or no marriage as well. And I have literally left it in the hands of Krishna and telling, you decide what's good for me. If it is going to be, it is going to stay, because I'm not marrying a person, I'm marrying you. So I think that's my take of how I deal with the relationship. And also lot of, and not even him, it's also about he not being spiritual, and that also has been questioned. How do we know who's spiritual or not spiritual? Am I spiritual? I just think I am, maybe I'm not, so yeah, so something.
Thank you, Nandini.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, anyone else wants to add on?
Monica, having said that, I would like you to, maybe if you have read it, Mother actually doesn't speak very highly of marriage too. So that's something I also wanted to bring in as well, because when I was reading Mother's words, she's not she won't say it in a very high regard, So I thought maybe just to leave that as well in the circle.
Yeah, I think we have a lot to learn, of course, from Mother's words. And one of the things which I would like to bring attention to is the rungs of love, which I'm sure all of us have touched upon. Rungs of love. We can go through that today. It's a very short little thing by Mother. The other thing is that the crux of the matter, I think you already shared that. Crux of the matter is growth of consciousness. I think the problem is not married or unmarried. The problem is my making the marriage so rigid and solid and as if, it's like a burden on me. I am married, I have two children, but I have never ever considered myself married. I'm still unmarried. And we all are actually, truly speaking, we are all just married to one. There is only one that we can be married to, our beloved, the divine. There is everything else is secondary, and that is why I think that's why we give so much importance to divorce, because we give so much importance to marriage. I mean, how does it matter? How does it matter? The crux of the matter is, Mother has said again and again, repeatedly, masters have said, growth of consciousness, evolution of the being, and you were sharing about that only. And if that is going on, 10 marriages broken, 10 marriages new happening, all will work well. And no marriage happening, also that will work well. The crux is growth of consciousness. So, yeah, I think we should not give this much of rigidity. I have just signed a document or maybe performed some rites. I mean, nobody has the power over me but the divine. Because I've often, this is like Taru's and my favorite topic of discussion. We have talked about it many, many times, and we all have laughed about it also many times, because the only thing is that because we make it so big, and that is why when it is breaking apart, it is like, oh, big jolt for us. Oh my God, how can my marriage break apart? Why not? Everything breaks apart. Ultimately, your body breaks apart. What is a marriage? Nothing. So first that, then the rungs of love, and then the one thing is that there is a play by the mother, which I will share on the group. I found it very, very helpful for me, where there is a person living with, I don't know if they are married or not, living with a lady, and they are like half spiritual, half poetic, going along that. The person has his own life into his own spirituality or poetry, I'm forgetting. And then one day, what happens is that uh, some neighbor comes into picture, and this neighbor has similar spiritual alignment as the poet, the man, and slowly they actually get along well together because they have same spiritual alignment. So towards the end of that play, and that play is written by the mother, that lady who is earlier the partner of that man, poet, she actually leaves the scene because now she sees that I don't fit in anywhere here, and these two are the ones who have to grow together, further. And how easily that could happen in a play. But in our real life, because we stick to everything, we have egos. If we are disconnecting from a person, we are disconnecting through the ego, so there is bitterness, there is rife, and we are all wanting to spread drain water on each other. But if we can grow in spirituality and maturity that much, that if you naturally are progressing in a certain way, and you decide to step away, and like, job done, that marriage has given you whatever it has to give you. Now something else has to take place. But unfortunately, or maybe it happens unfortunately in our these so-called real life, we just stick too tightly. But in that play, mother reveals that how it could be spiritual. Like, if you see something happening, why can't it just happen? You leave the scene and something else takes place. So there was a lot of spiritual maturity, I would say, in those characters. So for me, it was very revelatory because it was coming from the mother, and that's why it would appear that it doesn't matter whether you are. Sri Aurobindo was married. I mean, mother was married. So how does it matter? How does it matter? They were only wedded to the divine, both of them. So that's all that matters. Yeah. And in fact, mother was wed, I think, twice, second marriage. Yeah. And then spiritually, she was with Sri Aurobindo. So I mean, we are the ones who give so much of importance to who is my companion, who is not, and oh my God, I'm married to this person. Now I have to live my whole life. Who said that? Come out, live your life. But the second point is that we don't have anything worthwhile to pursue. That's why these things become so big for us. If I have something really worthwhile to pursue, no marriage can stop us. Just like you were sharing, Mirabai. No marriage could stop us from pursuing what she really, really wanted to pursue. And towards the end, when the Rana, expires, she writes this letter to Tulsidas ji. What should I do? My family, in-laws, they are just doing havoc on me. Shall I stay there? Shall I not stay there? What do I do after the husband passes away? And Tulsidas ji writes very beautifully that those people who are not belonging to truth, leave them like dust falling off your clothes. That's how you should leave them. So you're not obliged to live with your in-laws just because once you were married to Ranaji. So I mean, it is me who is making this into a big drama. Otherwise, nothing. This is all secondary in front of growth of consciousness. So I'll share that rungs of love also, where mother talks about how to truly love. Refining our, if we are in a companionship, then how to truly let go of all the stickiness, the attachments, expectations, and if there is a drop of love, how to refine that. If there is a true connection, that can be refined.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Mm. Yeah, anyone would like to add on?
I wanted to say that, Monica, some days ago you shared with me. I will share in the chat box the talks of Shaladalu. There are some talks on YouTube about sex, marriage, and celibacy and yoga that are really, really great.
Yeah, they
I
are
will
very
share it.
good. Yeah, by Shraddhalu. Yes, please share it. Very, very revelatory. All of them. Yeah, please do. Yeah, anyone? Anything? Okay, so I'm looking at many, many people who are married, but maybe nothing at the moment. So I'm assuming if there is anything you would share. Okay, so yes, we were talking about the third category where we see that there is at least some goal. Like it's not always about me and my little life. I want to dedicate some to social service, maybe opening a hospital or any kind of vision. So mother says that some goal and in advance is like it gets envisioned and then you move towards that goal, and then it also like selfless service of one society, country, humanity. So it's something more than me and my four walls, right? It's something more than that. The spreading of gospel of peace, harmony, dissemination of lofty truths, imparting of true cultural education, right? So these just an example of goals one may pursue. And then, some go even beyond these shining ideals. So they don't suffice. Somehow in their mind they have that I have to achieve enlightenment. I have to know who I am truly. So that could be my goal. And some people actually are born with that, because of whatever in previous lives they may have done. They can't rest until they actually do that journey, you know, towards self-realization. So some go even beyond, like we have amazing stories of, masters like Ramana Maharishi, who from a very little age, he knew that I just, have to do this. Spend time in caves and, years and years realizing many other masters also. So some go even beyond these shining ideals, finding them rather lacking in any fullness. So working for society, working for this and that doesn't give that fulfillment that they really are craving for. And this would again depend upon my stage of evolution. We are not all alike in that sense. So each one would be belonging to in one phase of life to a different category, which is completely fine. That's how we go. So lacking in any fullness, finality, and sacrifice, they are all to discover and realize the soul or the spirit, the Brahman or the divine. Of course, many shining examples we have here. This is a goal which alone seems to them worth attaining. The rest appearing as unsubstantial or illusory. So why would I not, care for getting married, having children, or even if they are done, move still forward because there is something else calling me. Like Sri Aurobindo, if you read the letters that he wrote to Mrinalini Devi, his wife, very revelatory letters, that how he has this vision in front of him even after getting married, that there is something that I want to do. The fathomless peace of the eternal or the unutterable ecstasy of the Godhead gives a profound satisfaction to the deeper parts of their being and carries with it a limpid freedom and finality which preclude any further quest or seeking. So this is it. Like in this life, this was my goal, self-realization, nirvana. And that itself, it's not like just a goal. It is, something very big that we are giving ourselves. But again, that would depend upon my previous, whatever lives I have lived, whatever my growth is, that would, how it would turn out. most of the sacred writings of the world enjoin upon men to seek only the immortality and infinity of the spirit and give up all other thoughts. An exclusive pursuit of the ineffable reality or the supreme knowledge or truth has, therefore, been the dominant spiritual note for many a century and claimed the absolute loyalty of some of the rarest men in the world. We all know, like shining examples of Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramhans, Ramanna Maharishi, and again, I'm sure many more, Avatar, Meher Baba. But even the liberation of the individual soul or the realization of the immutable eternal or the bliss of the divine embrace in the depths of the being may seem to be, to some, to be falling short. Now, again, the journey doesn't end at that self-realization. That's what, we see in Mother's yoga, integral yoga. That's what we see. That there is something more. There is a different aspect of uniting in the spirit with the divine and leaving the world as it is, entangled affairs, entangled workplace, entangled family place. And yet there are some who are not satisfied even with that. They want even something further. To some, to be falling short and not the supreme fulfillment. Something more is wanted, something more comprehensive and complete, something that is real, not only to the inner. Inwardly, that may be the truth for me, but what is there outwardly? My life. So, not something that is real not only to the inner or ingathered consciousness, but also to the outermost active personality of man and patent and palpable even to his physical senses. How do I live a life? How do I take care of this body that is given to me? And that is why in integral yoga, we see all these aspects shining out. Physical education. Mother really, really emphasized physical education so much because this is the body in which the divine inhabits. So it has to become ultimately divine. But if we leave the body as it is, thinking that iska kuch nahi hoga, nothing can happen of this body, it is bad matter, then how will things proceed further? So transforming thoughts, transforming emotions, knowing that disturbing emotions I have to put in the yajna as ahuti. I don't have to fuel it. I don't have to follow their dictates. This is all there in their yoga. I'm not speaking out of my own behalf. Transforming, turning each thought, each feeling to the divine. And even if we are interacting with the people in the world, we know that we are interacting with the divine. And that is not a mental knowing, but a actual genuine knowing. Only then can the refinement of love can happen. When you know that what is it that is happening in love, then you can't actually grasp at people like we do in love. We'll not be able to attach and stick to a person and torture the person that you fulfill me and you give me my happiness because you are married to me or whatever. We won't be able to do that because that appears like torture to that kind of a consciousness if we truly are trying to make everything pure. Because each thought passes through our mirror, psychic mirror, each feeling passes through the psychic mirror, each sense perception passes through it. Then we check, is it worthwhile? If not, we drop it immediately. So this is how purity comes in the being. So something more is wanted, and this is where it would be kind of going that something more is wanted just than being okay with the ingathered unity with the divine and having again knowledge, wisdom, intelligence. Not that it is not there, but still I leave the daily things as they are. The body remains as it is, but also palpable even to the physical senses. So this is where we are now. He's bringing us, Rishabhchand ji is bringing us to the fourth category, which is the last that he mentions here. Yeah, anything anyone wants to add on? Okay, so then let's go ahead with the fourth one. I think it would be nice. So yeah, would anyone want to read?
Yeah, I'll go ahead, Monica.
Yeah, yeah.
The fourth category consists of those exceptional souls who hunger for the highest possible perfection and fulfillment in life. They are born with a sense of the indivisible unity of existence and cannot rest satisfied with any experience that cuts up this unity into pairs of opposites. Spirit and matter, light and life, one and many, reality and appearance, etc. And the unity they aspire after is not only the eternal and essential unity of all existence, but also the unity that breathes and blooms in opulent rainbow splendor, even in even in all that is fleeting and phenomenal. The essential and the expressional aspects of the one reality are felt by them as eternal, correlates, and seizable by an englobing realization. Besides, they feel that the expressional aspect is not a confused blur of teeming elements, but a real cosmos, an ordered evolution, a mounting harmony, self-conscious, self-fulfilling, and invincibly purposive. But what has been up to now only a feeling and a vague, if insistent, aspiration in this direction is luminously revealed by the mother as the very goal of human life and the central secret of the soul's descent into human birth.
Yeah, please go ahead and read the words by the mother also. This one. Yeah.
Of what use would be man if he was not made to throw a bridge between that which eternally is, but is not manifested, and that which is manifested, between all the transcendences, all the splendors of the divine life, and all the obscure and sorrowful ignorance of the material world? Man is the intermediary between that which has to be and that which is. He is a bridge thrown over the abyss. He is the great X as the cross, the quaternary link. His true abode, the effective seat of his consciousness, should be in the intermediate world at the joining point of the four arms of the cross, where all the infinity of the unknowable comes to take precise form for being projected into the multitudinous manifestation. This center is the seat of supreme love and perfect consciousness, of pure and total knowledge. Establish there, O Lord, those who can, who must, and who will serve thee truly, so that thy work may be done, the bridge may be definitely established, and thy forces may spread untiringly in the world. Wow,
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful.
beautiful. Thank you.
So, yeah, we take a pause here. I think there's furthermore, but this we take a pause here. So this is, I mean, so beautiful, really. Just to read it is enough. We slowly trickle in. When we read good words, then they slowly become a part of our being. Yeah, anyone who wants to share anything here?
I think that sentence, right? They are born with a sense of indivisible unity of existence and cannot rest satisfied with any experience that cuts up this unity into pairs of opposites. Spirit and matter, light and life, one and many, reality and appearance, etc. So, what they're trying to say is, what he's trying to say is that there is no duality in this, right? They don't see that.
I think
Oh.
the duality may still be there, but there is an inner aspiration, a deeper aspiration that the duality is not the ultimate truth. We still have to go further. That aspiration is there. Like, when one is born with a sense of faith in universe, some of us are born with a sense of faith in universe that I will be taken care of no matter wherever I go. I may be penniless, I may be on the street, but I know I will be taken care of. That faith is there. So it is not that the duality is not there, but a deeper knowing of unity is there, which you have not learned through your education. That knowing, that faith is there, that no, right now there may be discord in my relationships, but I know that I'm missing on something and this can't be it. I have to go further. I have to go further. So that sense is there, that you're not satisfied that, oh, human relations, they are like this. You're not satisfied with that. You know that this has to go further. Yeah.
So you're not seeing, there is no, are we saying, Monica, that this category is not seeing the difference? I mean, there is no separateness, right? I don't see.
I think both are there. Like, this inner sense is that yes, there is no separateness.
All right.
That is why you strive towards refining love or
Right.
refining whatever, right? But outwardly, you see that there are imperfections still in my relations and everywhere. But because of that inner sense which you are talking about, that is there, inner sense of unity, that no, we are all one, we are all interconnected. So some solution, I'm sure, will be found sooner, later, whatever, which satisfies everybody. So that sense is there of inner unity, that everyone is connected, that deep faith is there, unshakable faith, and you don't know how you have got it, but you have got it, right?
Right.
But on the outer, there are still things that you need to take care of, and that is why you can actually strive towards a greater harmony, because you know that it doesn't end here. You're not ready to give up, basically.
Yeah. So that's where I think that you're not ready to give up, but so many times we do give up, right? And so many instances make you think, oh, ye to ho hi nahi sakta, whatever, this is not going to,
On this point, I have something to say, because what we have to give up is our ideas of how true harmony should happen. We have our own ideas. For example, living together with two, three people. I have my own idea of how a beautiful, harmonious family should live.
Should be.
That is what I have to give up. It's not that the idea of harmony has to be given up. Harmony is like, we all crave for harmony. That is why at times we become so restless when the harmony is lacking. Because somewhere deep inside we know that no, harmony has to be there. But we don't know, in our ignorance, we don't know how. And that is why we walk the path of self-realization, because without understanding my own self, true harmony, Sri Aurobindo, Mother, they themselves have said that for true harmony to exist in the world, each person has to be united with his Godhead. Otherwise, forget true harmony. Forget. So that's why we have to be united with our truth consciousness. Then the true harmony can be there. And we are on the path. It's not like we see now almost a spiritual revolution taking place all over the world. Either through this means or that means. Mindfulness coming to corporates, offices, in schools and colleges. People are craving for retreats. So things are happening.
Yeah.
Not that we are moving towards that direction. Yeah. More and more cancers happening. Why do you think? I don't think these are just for no reason, or maybe only because we are eating some polluted food. No. No. I feel there is much more occultish reason to that. Because these are like, now those of us who become ready to wake up, they are given some or the other blow. Okay, knock on the door. Now get up. How long will you keep on in the same groove? Yeah, anything? Anyone wants? Yeah.
Today in the Gita class, there was very beautiful example. One of the shared, I just on what you said, Monica, it was so beautiful. He was talking about Vishnuji, Lord Vishnu, who has who has three hands, and in one hand, Vishnu has punch, the punch that you blow, and in one hand there is chakra, and in the third one there is gada. And he said it has such a symbolic meaning to our lives, that in the sense that we all hear the punch, the voice inside first. So we all embody that three-handed Vishnu in us. If you don't listen to that punch, you are gently beaten by a gada. And then if you are so much into deeper sleep that you don't even listen to the gada, then only the chakra comes, like you said, in form of cancer or something extremely, which you say that, oh my God. But the trick is to actually start tuning into yourself so much that you don't have to go to such an extreme. And that's what spiritual evolution and spiritual path is, that you keep tuning in yourself, just like a radio, it's always there, but you just have to keep tuning in. So I really like that example that was shared. So what you said about that as well, that then it comes, the chakra comes.
Very beautiful. Yes, and Mother has talked about it, that the need for pain and suffering, we don't have to walk that path of suffering and pain and torture. Once we have had enough of our pain, suffering, and whatever turmoils that we wanted to learn from, it can become a cheerful, happy, joyful path. And she doesn't advise using the path of suffering and pain. But she, of course, she has said that if suffering is there, if pain is there, then how to make the best use of that pain. And that's what we see in the problem of pain in Savitri, the way, the fate and problem of pain. Yeah. But we don't have to keep on walking the same path, wanting more and more blows. Yeah. So yes, very true. Yeah, anyone wants to add on? So I think all of us have been given again and again through these words, mothers and Sri Aurobindo and others, that our lifetime employment has been given to us. Now, nobody can say I am unemployed. Of what use would be man if he was not made to throw a bridge between that which eternally is but is not manifested, and that which is manifested, between all the transcendences, all the splendors of the divine life, and the obscure and sorrowful ignorance of the material world. This is the bridge that we all are supposed to be. So good that all the darkness and sorrows come to us, because we all have also the light within us, which has the power to transform all the darkness and sorrows, just like Savitri does with her unshakable faith. She is able to transform the Lord of Death into his true character, because the true is light. Absolute truth is light ultimately. In the depth of every sorrow and darkness lies truth. But if I stop halfway and complain that, oh, I just found darkness, then I just went halfway. Go full way. So Mother says that make best use of your suffering and go to the end of the tunnel, she says, and then there is light hiding. That's what we have to unite. All this inner realization and the outer has to get united. Yes, so anyone, any last comments, reflections? We will take up further in the next one because it may maybe just run into too much. From this part, I think this is very beautiful. We must take it. So this we will take in the next session. But today we can maybe pause here, and all the bits that we have read today we can take up for our own silent contemplation. Untiringly. This is also very nice. No? So that thy work may be done, the bridge may be definitively established, and thy forces may spread untiringly in the world. That is what is to happen. Yeah. So any last thoughts, any comments, anyone? I think this discontent in this aspect is very good because when I sit for my meditation and I find peace, but then the moment I am outwardly in interactions, workplace, and other things, I see that, oh my God, so much of disharmony still. Then it brings a discontent in me. I'm not happy with this dual life that I live. Inwardly, at times gets peaceful, very nice, enjoyable. But outwardly, I'm the same person again and again. I'm not changing. So this brings a discontent in us, and which is a very good discontent because that is what fuels our journey forward. That I have to change. I have to still work upon myself, no matter how many good meditations I may do. Maybe sit for 1 hour, but it doesn't matter if my interactions are not peaceful, not harmonious. They are not bringing light out in every interaction that takes place in my life. Then we feel that falling short in us, which is a good thing. I think it propels us further. So mother also says that to get self-satisfied is the worst of all obstacles on the spiritual path. Yeah. Yes, Anandini?
No, especially the discontent part, no? So when in a couple of the sessions that I think the discontent we have again and again sort of, so I was just thinking that, yeah, the discontent has happened. I mean, so this is what it truly means, because it's been, yeah, the discontent started very, very long back, for me. I mean, I was very young and I was always wondering that, is this what it is? Is this what it is? And I feel that even as children, when we question it, no, we, not that we don't get the answers immediately, but that thing, right? Oh, ye to bachcho wali baat nahi kar rahe ho tum. Like, they just dismiss it. And I find that, sometimes the most like he says, right, untiringly in the world, it has actually, I found that my connection, or the, my uh, answers that you're seeking, suddenly a child will say something to you, and you find that they're able to say it with so much of simplicity that yeah, it sort of awakens a little bit and says, oh yes, this is what I was thinking, but see how easily it has come out, and there is no absolutely no difficulty in the way they say it, because so innocently and so beautifully it comes out that yeah, you sometimes wish that, I wish that I had sometimes retained that, bit of childlike, sometimes, innocence. And
It will come back, don't worry.
yeah,
We still have years to go, lifetimes to go.
yeah.
It will come back. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, very true. And Nandini, you want to read this out? Then we can end after this, what you have shared. Oh, okay. Doesn't matter. I will read out from your behalf. So Nandini has shared something by Sri Aurobindo. The spiritual path is one of falling on your face, getting up, brushing yourself off, turning and looking sheepishly at God, and then taking the next step. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so just before we end, let's take a last moment of silence to share dedicate our merit of collected reflections, reading words of Mother Sri Aurobindo and all other teachers, sharing all the merit accumulated with all the sentient beings, those from those who are closest to us to those who we don't know. May our hearts be fulfilled and minds be simple, content, and may we have joy and progress in life. And may all of us be able to let go and move on. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ma.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so
Bye.
much.
Thanks, everyone.